This is ODAT Chat, your instant connection to recovery and community, one day at a time. This podcast may contain strong language, sexual content, and spiritual truth. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to ODAT Chat. My name is Arlena and I'll be your host. In case you didn't know, ODAT stands for One Day at a Time. If you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes. You might be wondering what the purpose of the podcast is, and what I can tell you is that besides wanting to clear up a lot of misconceptions about addiction and recovery, I also wanted to share the teachers' ideas and exercises that have helped me on my own journey over the last 22 years that really fall outside the parameters of 12-step groups. So there you have it. And today I'd like to share a book recommendation. This one's called Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. And it's a bit of a cult classic. It's been around since about 1970, and a lot of the ideas from the book were re-popularized by the movie The Secret that came out a while back. Visualization is really a powerful tool when it comes to making positive changes in your life. So things like vision boards and things like that all stem from this book that's been teaching these principles for about 40 years. So I actually tried one of the visualization meditations from the book called the Pink Bubble Technique. And the idea is that you hold in your mind a goal that you would like to manifest as if it's already happened, with as much positive feelings as you can muster. And then imagine it in as much detail as you can. And then you surround this image in a pink bubble. And then the last step is to imagine letting it go and seeing it drift off into the universe. And this is something that you would practice doing for several days or for several weeks. And so I actually did this about 14 years ago, back when I was hoping to buy a house in Silicon Valley, which is no small feat. The San Jose, San Francisco Bay Area is a very expensive place to live. And I really didn't know if we were going to be able to do it, but whatever. I had this clear image of in my mind of this modest beige house on a street canopied by big trees. And I was really just hoping for something similar to what I grew up in. So we had been looking for a while, and suddenly a house came available, and I got a call from the realtor at 8 a.m. I saw that house the afternoon and purchased it, made an offer and had the contract signed even before my husband came home from work. He didn't even see the house, but we had been looking for long enough that, I knew that this was the one. So, we were very excited, to say the least. And it wasn't until I was looking at pictures that I was going to send to the family that I had this realization that this was the very house I had imagined. It was the kind of realization that gave me goosebumps. And now that I'm talking about it, maybe I'll try it again on a few other things. I don't know. Anyway, it's a super cool book. It's a very, pretty cool practice. And you can find a link to it on my website at odatchat.com. In this episode, I'll be talking with a friend of mine, David. I've been friends with him for probably over 20 years now. He talks about some of the close calls from when he was in his drinking and using period. He talks about long-term sobriety after a long term of relapses. So long-term sobriety is very possible even if you are what some people, I hate the term chronic relapser, but if you think you're one of those people, stop using that word, but just know that you can acquire long-term sobriety. I just want you to know that. And he also talks about going through this whole thing, mostly agnostic. He is living proof that you can get sober and stay sober without a clearly defined higher power. So we talk about all kinds of things. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope you do as well. So, that was a long intro. But with that, please enjoy this conversation with my dear friend, David. Well, David, thanks so much for being willing to come be on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
It's been a while, 25 plus years.
Yeah, almost. I mean, I've been sober a little over 22.
Okay.
Yeah, I got sober in 94, and I met you pretty much right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
I've known your husband longer than, yeah.
Yeah, so he got sober in 88.
Yeah, back when he was 2.
Right. So you had known him the whole time, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys have been around a long time. So you came around young, right?
I was 23,
23. That's
22
pretty.
or 23 when I
23.
first started to get
Okay.
sober. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's just start from the beginning. So I'm going to ask you some background questions so that people listening can kind of get an idea in their mind of
Okay.
maybe like who you are and stuff. So how old are you?
I'm 50.
You're 50. Oh, so you just had the big 5. Oh,
I
that's
just
right.
turned
That's
50.
right. Yeah, just recently. And have you always lived in the San Francisco Bay Area?
Always lived in the South Bay, San
The
Jose,
South Bay?
Cupertino, Campbell. Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Lynbrook.
Oh, you went to Lynbrook.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was in Cupertino. So we were
Yep.
We were close in
Yep.
proximity. We may have been at
We
some.
might have hung out.
We never would have known.
Right?
Isn't that funny? Yeah. Okay. And what do you do professionally?
I'm a journeyman electrician.
A journeyman electrician. Okay. You've been doing that for.
Seems like forever. About 23 years.
Okay. Long time. Okay. And your relationship status?
I am married.
You are married. And listen, I knew this. I was at your wedding.
You were the maid of honor.
I was not.
Oh, you are? Well, you were a bridesmaid.
No, but I was a bridesmaid. Yeah. And
your husband was my best man.
Yes. Yeah, Bob was your best man.
That's right.
Yeah, and I helped with all the wedding stuff. I remember on the way to the ceremony, Jamie's phone was blowing up, and I was like, you know what? Give me your phone.
Yeah.
We are not doing it this way.
Right.
So I kind of took over. But I think it all worked out.
It did.
Yeah,
that was a nice day.
It was a beautiful day.
It went by quick.
So fast.
That's what I tell everybody when they get married is just soak it up because it's going to fly by.
Yeah. I tell everyone, get it on video.
Yeah,
you won't,
right.
You won't remember any of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So how long have you been married now?
Oh, geez.
Oh,
no.
Are you going to get in trouble?
No, 12 years this May.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 12 years.
God, that seems like it was not that long ago. Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
You.
Listen, and I love your wife. And I think what's interesting is she has never had any kind of addiction or alcoholism or.
No.
But she has some in the family, right?
She has some in the family, yes. It runs in her family. Her father, her mother, her sister.
That's amazing. How did it skip her, do you think?
I don't know. She had like a little bit of a run-in when she was younger, but she brushed it off and she got pregnant when she was really young.
Oh, okay.
So she had to do a lot of growing up really quick.
Okay.
And I think that probably curbed her from going down a different road.
Curbed her from crossing the line.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that did not happen to me.
Yeah, no, she doesn't have the ism, that's for sure.
She does not have the ism. No. Yeah, she's always seemed well-adjusted. And listen, I'm always amazed when people are well-adjusted. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know either. I don't understand them.
I don't understand.
But I married one, so.
I know. Does she ever drink around you?
She didn't for the longest time. She had as much time as me at one point.
Oh, funny.
And then I told her, I said, look, you can have a glass of wine. You can enjoy a drink when we're out to dinner. It doesn't affect me. It's, I'm completely okay with you doing it. And she does it. She goes out and drinks with her friends here and there, but
like a normal person.
Like a normal person, but she doesn't get drunk. She doesn't,
Yeah.
She'll have like a drink. I'll buy her a drink and she'll drink half of it.
That's amazing.
What a waste.
I know. Listen, if I could drink like a normal person, I would do it every day.
Yeah, right?
That's funny. Okay, and you together have a little one.
We do.
One of my most favorite little girls
Haley
on
Ray.
the planet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's a miracle. I have to confess, I thought you were a little crazy when you guys had.
Well, she was an oopsie. Her middle name should be Oopsie. She wasn't planned.
I could have sworn you guys.
No.
Oh.
Well, we weren't trying not to, and we weren't trying to, so it just
okay.
happened.
So you were trying.
We're throwing caution to the wind.
Throwing caution to the wind, let nature take its
Yeah.
course. But listen, she turned out to be the most precious, amazing
Isn't
little
she,
girl.
though? Yeah.
Oh, I have just been in love with her from day one.
Yeah,
she's
smart as a
amazing.
whip.
God, she's smart
Funny.
and adorable. God, she's amazing. And you also have a few other kids.
We do.
So tell me about your kids.
My oldest, Lacey, she's 23. She's with my first wife, Claire.
Okay.
And then my youngest boy, Sean, he's 20.
Okay.
And he's with Valerie.
Okay.
The girl that I
You
had
dated?
a kid with. And then there's Michael, who just turned 21, and he's Jamie's son from a previous relationship. And so, but I've raised him since he was 4.
Oh, wow.
And then we have together, between me and Jamie, we have Haley Ray.
Haley
who's
Ray.
5.
She's 5.
Yeah.
She's a love.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a full house. So is Haley the only one still at home?
No, Haley and Michael still home.
Michael's still home? Yep. Okay. So what was it like for you to raise this blended family? I mean, so all the kids' moms are in sobriety except Jamie.
Yep.
Okay. And that must have been challenging to negotiate at times, right?
It was difficult at times. It was more difficult for Jamie, I think.
In what way?
Just having to deal with 2 different women.
Right.
With my daughter and my son. It was tough, I think, mostly with her and Sean. But Lacey came to live with us when she was, I think, 12 or 13.
Oh, she did.
And she took her and Lacey and my wife have a wonderful relationship.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Her and Sean, it started to blossom a little bit more since Sean got older, but it was challenging with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're past the hard part now.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all downhill now.
Right. It's easier.
Not downhill, but...
I know. I never know how to use that expression, right? Because downhill is easier.
Yeah.
But then it's implied that you're sort of lowering in station somehow. So
maybe. Yeah.
I never know how to use that expression. But it's easier.
We've all kind of became comfortable with our roles, I think.
Right.
And we all have a really good dynamic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I saw them more, like Lacey and Sean. I wish were around more, but you know, they're young adults and
must be so hard to let go.
Blazing their own trail, and right.
Well, we were just talking before we started recording that Sean is actually going to be in a Netflix series in a reoccurring role. That's so exciting.
He is. Yeah, he's a little actor down in LA.
You must be so proud.
Yeah, it's
I cannot
crazy.
wait. I cannot wait. Yeah. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
We'll have to put links in the show notes. There'll be show notes on the website. So we'll do that. That'll be fun. We'll all cheer him on. So tell me about, maybe you can kind of give me a short synopsis of kind of what it was like and what happened to bring you to.
What it was like is I started really young. I started drinking and getting loaded when I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the environment. I was the youngest of 3 boys. Back then it was the mid 70s and it was the hippie era kind of, and drugs were abundant, and it was what it was. And I just got started really young. And once I hit the ground running, I just didn't want to stop.
Did your parents use, or just
not at all. No, my mom and my dad aren't alcoholic or have any addictive kind of personality. It's just me, basically. I'm the worst one.
But your brothers did it?
My oldest brother John is Mr. Normie, and my middle brother Mark has struggled, but I think he's, kind of gotten a grip on it. But for myself, I was, bad.
What kind of drugs were you using?
What do you got? I started taking LSD when I was 10.
What?
Yeah. Marijuana was a daily occurrence every day. Alcohol, not so much, because alcohol was really hard to get your hands on back there. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
And then, when the 80s came around, it was cocaine. Mm-hmm. And then after that fizzled out, it was methamphetamine.
And did you get into all kinds of trouble? Or
not with the law so much. More like I just would kind of skid row it, just living in my truck and out on the street and in and out of mom's house and taking advantage of them, and just just ugly.
Yeah.
But not so much with the law. I had this sense about me of when not to get in a car or when not to go somewhere, and sure enough something would happen and they'd get arrested or in a bad accident, or it was really weird. So I listened to that. That thinger we have that tells you maybe I shouldn't do that. I kind of listened to that, and it kept me out of a lot of trouble.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Because a lot of the people I grew up with, they're dead or doing a lot of time. So
wow.
Yeah.
No, I've had my fair share of friends in accidents, and guy in high school got in a car wreck, fatal car wreck. We're so lucky. We are so lucky.
A lot of the people who had bigger character and bigger hearts than I did, and they never got a shot at this just because they died young. So
Yeah. I remember one time we were up in the Los Gatos Mountains, and it was like the high school period, and we were at someone's house partying all night. I don't know where the parents were, but it was like a big party, and it was like a camping party. Like everybody was there for the night.
right.
And somebody was like, "Hey, let's go to this other house that's down the road or whatever." So a bunch of us piled into a truck, and I got in the back. And it was in the middle of the night. The driver was loaded, and we're going on this mountain road. There's no lights. And at one point, this all I remember is at one point the rear tires went off the side. And I was in the back,
You're
and I was
hanging off
like,
the edge of the
"Oh
cliff.
my God."
Yeah.
And he came back on, nothing happened.
Yeah.
That was just like one of like
Hundreds.
probably many
Yeah.
nights. And for whatever reason,
You made it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Definitely one of the lucky ones. So tell me what happened to you that you decided. So clearly life is not working for you, and you do
Yeah.
have some sort of self-preservation
It
mechanism.
wasn't even that. It was more along the lines of a guy that I was hanging out with. One of my oldest and best friends had been to AA meetings before and been in a program.
Mhm.
And we were living in my mom's house she was renovating. And we were drinking and using every day. And my mom said, "Look, you guys can't be here. You need to get out." So we're looking at living on the streets in the middle of winter, right? So we checked into this place called Odyssey House, and it was ran by Volunteers of America. And that was back in 1989. And it was in East San Jose. It was on like East 24th and Julian, as far from Cupertino as you could possibly get.
So not real fancy.
No, not real fancy. It was like an old broken down motel that they turned into a rehab.
Oh, weird.
But it was all run by alcoholics that had time, and
Mm.
a lot of guys in there were out of prison. A lot of guys were straight out from the street, and it was a mix. And that's when I first got introduced to the program.
Were you ready to be there, or was it like
Not at all.
not ready?
Not ready. No.
And how long did you stay at this facility?
Like a little over 5 months.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Did they take you through all 12 steps? And
Not at all. But they brought in meetings. We were able to go out to meetings. I got force-fed a sponsor.
Okay.
A guy that came in and said, "I'm going to sponsor you." And
I hear that's how the men do it, though,
yeah,
sometimes,
and,
even now.
Yeah. And so I never utilized him. And
Oh.
my friend that I'd gone in there with, he'd gone out and went back to Santa Cruz and started drinking again. And within a few weeks, I joined him in Santa Cruz.
You just said,
And
screw
was
it, I'm
off
not
and-
ready.
Yeah, off and running again.
So off and running again, and for you, that meant a very long time of like in and out, right?
In and out for 12 years.
In and out.
From 89 till 2001.
Dude, that's rough.
Yeah, it was very painful.
Would you relapse over, what kind of situations would you relapse over?
It didn't matter. Being bored.
Any unwanted feeling or any feeling at all?
Any feeling at all. It was like feelings were so just alien to me, It was just weird. A lot of it was that I had a lot of growing up to do. I was very immature, but also I had a plan B in case stuff didn't work out. I always had this thinking that drugs and alcohol were still a solution to a point, and 2001, I didn't even pick my sobriety date in 2001. I wasn't planning on getting sober in 2001. It was picked for me by my girlfriend, my now wife, Jamie, that she found my stash and flushed it down the toilet, woke me up and told me what she'd done. And I said, "Wow, okay, that's it then. You have no idea what I had to do and go through to get that, but I am way too tired and worn out to try to do it again."
Right.
And I went to a meeting that night, and I've never looked back.
Wow.
And somewhere within the first month, I had that spiritual awakening, that kind of, what would you call it? The
moment of clarity?
not a moment, but a psychic change.
Oh.
A change in the way I look at alcohol and drugs as I was done.
Do you feel like that was your moment that you accepted to, like, they say you accept to your innermost core
Yeah.
that you're an addict or an alcoholic?
I've done that before, but I always had like, what's the word?
Was it like
reservation? Bit of a reservation.
That maybe you could do it better next time?
Not even that. I never had that thought that I would like try to manage or do better. It was all, I'm going to do this and I'm going to take it to the curb. I'm going to do it till the wheels fall off. It was, that insane thinking. What changed for me is that the obsession was lifted completely.
The mental obsession and the cravings?
And the craving, none. And for me, I had to fall in love with this thing is what it really took. I don't like it when people say you have, the analogy, you got to drink the Kool-Aid. For younger listeners, you probably don't know what that means, but Google Jim Jones and James Jonestown and you'll know. But for me, it wasn't drink the Kool-Aid. It was, I had to fall in love with this thing. I had to buy into it fully.
Yeah. I really love it.
And what I realized is I don't have to love the people, but I have to love the process. And that's the magic, is one alcoholic working with another one.
It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to love everybody, but I have to fall in love with the process.
And it's magical.
It is magical. One alcoholic working with another, it's without parallel the most magical thing I've ever encountered in my life.
Yeah, and it never ceases to amaze me because we haven't both been sober a long time, but the magic is still there for me. And it feels like whenever I'm willing to submit my stuff to a higher power, a sponsor, that's when like things start happening around me.
Yeah.
I hate to use the word coincidence. My sister would say coincidence.
Right.
And I love that because there's just something about when you surrender to the process and start taking a hard, honest look at yourself. When you get to that point or you have that feeling like, I want to change. I want to be different, and there's that saying in the book about self-reliance failed us every time.
Yeah.
And so when I get to that point and I'm like, how am I going to get better in this area, whether it's money, a character defect, or struggling with a relationship? It's like I sort of gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what, God, just fucking fix me.
Yeah.
This isn't your will for me. And then somewhere in that moment of surrender, things start happening. And I don't know about you, but like my thinking is, it's like the fallacy of dichotomy. It's like, it's either going to be this choice or it's going to be that choice. Right. And typically when I surrender, the solution is something I didn't even consider.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Right.
Has that been your experience too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I come to a point where everyone else around me can be tired of me, but I'm not going to make a change until I become tired of myself and my behavior,
Yeah.
It's really been true for me.
Is that what happened to kind of get you over that line?
Maybe. I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really tried to dissect it.
You haven't?
No, not really. I didn't pray for it. I didn't ask for it. It just kind of happened.
Huh.
It just kind of transpired over a period of a month or so, and I just felt different. I felt different this time.
You had the psychic change.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because a lot of us need to figure out why. You know what I mean? A lot of people are asking, how come I got it? Or how come they don't get it? Or, like you and I see a lot of people who relapse chronically.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what can they do different. And I see people trying lots of different things.
I wish I had an answer for that.
I know.
I really wish I did. But you know what? The truth is that, and I'd hate to say it, is that maybe AA isn't for everybody. You know what I mean, right?
And I totally agree with that. I know it's my answer.
Yeah.
But really that was kind of the purpose of the podcast, is to be able to talk about other things outside of, the program that work.
We don't corner the market on people getting sober.
Right. Like you mentioned, your brother has found stability. He doesn't do program?
No. I mean, he was for a while. I mean, last time I saw him, he was going to meetings here and there. He's kind of it's weird. He's different.
What's your relationship with him like now?
It's a bit strained right now, actually.
Did something happen?
Yeah, some family stuff popped up. He's different. He has an opinion about everything, And I don't. And I don't like it when people force their opinions on me or tell me how I should live my life.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he's hasn't done a bang up job himself, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So.
Okay. That seems.
Yeah. And this just happened like a couple days ago.
Oh.
Over,
a little
over
fresh.
my daughter and my mom and.
Okay.
Yeah, some stuff came up, and I didn't appreciate him calling me and getting involved. It's between my mom and my daughter. Why are you sticking your nose in it?
Right. I think it's important to have healthy boundaries.
Absolutely.
And people don't like it, actually, when we are able to be like, here it is. Here's the line.
Yep.
You know?
Because we didn't have that before. Mm-hmm. And so what we've done is we changed the equation on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've always been a 1, you've always been a 2, and when you get together, we're a 3, and you know that 3's the answer, but now I'm a 3, and you're and it doesn't add up, and they freak out, you know?
Yeah, they really do. Yeah. That's tough when one person starts changing.
Yeah.
A long time ago, there was this guy named, a therapist named Terry Bradshaw, not the football player guy, but, and he was famous for talking about the family of origin, like how... And the analogy he used was the baby mobile, you know, the little thing you hang over the crib. Mm-hmm. And when the little things on the opposite ends of the stick, when one moves, when you hit one thing, the whole mobile starts to change, right? And so that's like a family, right? So when one person starts to change, everything else has to change to maintain balance. Right. And a lot of people aren't ready.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not ready to change, but everybody has to behave differently. And it's not fun.
Yeah, setting healthy boundaries is something I've been focusing on for the past year.
Oh, really?
I got a sponsor that I've hooked up with that has really strong, definitive boundaries, and she's pretty awesome. So she, yeah. Imagine that. Oh my God.
Listen, you know, I'm talking about all kinds of stuff that I think a lot of people are going to be in an uproar about, but I just think it's important to air it all out.
Absolutely.
So do I know your sponsor?
You probably do. She has less time than me. She's younger.
My sponsor has less time than me too.
Yeah, but it's all about what you want, you know? It's all about, and that's what attracted me to her, was she has really strong, definitive boundaries, and she has no problem expressing them to people.
Yeah, in a kind way, or...
Sometimes. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need to be a bit assertive and direct. And she has no problem doing that. And I've always been one to avoid conflict wherever it arises. And that creates resentment and a bit of shame, you know, not standing up for myself when I should have.
Oh, and it creates shame in you when you don't.
Yeah.
When you go along with things. Of course. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I've been working on that.
Setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gina used to call that spiritual rudeness.
I like that.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, that's really good.
And I'll tell you what, I don't mind letting somebody have their feelings. Like, I don't mind if I'm going to be honest and share something with somebody. I try to do it with love. But I think we do this thing where we need to let the other person have a feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I have a girlfriend and I get my feelings hurt, I need to let her know, you know, I was really uncomfortable with this. And I have to allow her some space to have a reaction and have a feeling. And I think most of us are so afraid.
It's like hurting somebody's feelings, or...
Yeah, like there'll be... Have you ever had those conversations where it's like, you're so fucking pissed off, you know you have to go talk to somebody, and like your heart's pounding, and it's
your adrenaline's
going.
Yeah.
I hate it when someone can get to me like that. Trigger me so hard. I hate it. But then the goal is to be able to speak your truth without blame or judgment.
Yep.
Right? And then allow that other person to
have their feelings.
Yep. Haven't you noticed that someone's first reaction typically isn't their long-term reaction? Like, someone might get really pissed, but then they go away and they think about what you said, and then they get okay with it.
Right.
It always makes me nervous when someone takes bad news well.
What are they plotting? What's the recourse going to be?
Yeah, well, and I get it, right? Because I have been that person too, where someone confronts me on something like a bad behavior of mine, and I don't want to show that I have a feeling, my hurt button is like on delayed reaction.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even come up. It's not like I'm deliberately withholding like being honest, but like I just don't feel it right away.
Yeah.
Like I just shut down.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
go
Put
away.
that wall up.
Yeah. I shut down. I go away, and then I start stewing on it and thinking about it and obsessing on it.
Yeah.
Pretty soon I'm like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
And I'm a small person, so, my stuff comes out
sideways. The brainstorm, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be really, so I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
I've had the feelings, but I feel like having a program allows me to process through that stuff so I don't have to.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to stab a bitch.
Yeah. You don't have to carry that around.
I don't have to carry it.
Yeah, it's just sick. It makes you sick.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So since you got sober and started working steps and have been able to maintain long-term sobriety now, how long? It's been 12 years?
15.
15 years. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay, 15 years.
December.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Can you believe that's your number?
No.
15 years.
No, it's crazy.
So during that time you were relapsing and you keep coming back, it's tough to... What was that process like? I mean, I know it was painful, but having to come back in the rooms...
I didn't have a problem coming back and standing up.
No?
I look at it as like it was all a learning experience. The 12 years out there weren't for nothing.
Right.
Right? I learned something from that. And I had to walk that path. That's the path I had to take in order to get where I'm at today. So I have no regrets.
Right.
And for those people out there that are struggling, don't have any regrets, man. Just keep coming back and show up and don't lose faith.
Right. It's part of the process.
It is part of the process. I think they even talk about it in the book a little bit. I can't quote it, but they talk about how if you keep coming eventually, even if you don't stay sober, your life's going to get continually better.
Right.
And that was kind of my case is that even though I was out 12 years, each time I got a little bit closer.
Yeah.
It just took what it took.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad it doesn't sound like you had a lot of shame, which is important.
Not a lot, no.
Because I think that keeps people
previous
out.
to where before when I came in, there's a lot of stuff I did that I'm not proud of, but I've been able to inventory that and move through it, and it doesn't define who I am today. Although it does tend to pop up sometimes in social situations, maybe a little bit.
What kind of social situation?
Like just where I'm meeting new people. Meeting a whole group of new people I've never met before. It's like you don't, I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
I'm that guy.
You don't want to have nothing, you know what I mean?
Like, you look like a stand-up guy. You don't like have a bunch of
but
tattoos
my brain is like, my brain is not well sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't, other people don't know
No,
what you're
they don't, but they do.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They do, don't they?
I don't know.
Can't they like see
maybe they're sensing your discomfort.
What was it? I thought shyness is just a cute word for self-absorbed.
Shyness.
Right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems very negative, though.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think, I don't know what that's about, actually. I haven't explored.
You're not very shy.
That was funny. No, that was cute. No, that's interesting. So there is actually a few different things I wanted to talk to you about. So we went over, so you have a normie wife, your kids are grown, you have a little one at home. We're talking about meeting new people. Are you are you anonymous about?
Not really. If it comes up, I have no problem breaking my anonymity if it will help somebody. Just for instance, at work, I let a guy know that I was in the program, and a couple days later, he comes up to me and he's all, "Hey, what would you think if a buddy of mine had a few Modelo's in the morning?" And I go, "It sounds like it'd probably be a good morning, but is it every morning? And why?
Is it a Saturday morning?
Are you the friend?" And then you got to answer the question. Why am I asking the question?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So obviously you're thinking about it. And so I left him with that, and he hasn't come back to me yet.
How long has it been?
It's been about 2 months.
Okay.
But I think he's taking a look at it.
He's watching you.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do, huh?
Yeah. Would you ever invite him to a meeting?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would bring him to my home group.
Yeah, if he asks again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd bring anybody.
I do that too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not very anonymous, but I do like to choose who I tell and when. I don't because I still think that there's like I'm in high tech sales and in the corporate environment.
There's a stigma attached to being alcoholic, I
I
think.
still
You
feel,
know?
it's so funny. So we get isolated. We think that in our little world, everything, so we have a new normal.
Yeah.
We have a new normal.
Yeah.
And so I understand that alcoholism and drug addiction is in itself not a moral issue, right? I'm not bad because I'm a drug addict,
Right.
alcoholic, right? I have the mental obsession, the phenomenon of craving. That's not something that's within my control.
Right.
But I still see people like so recently, and actually one of the reasons why I was like, that's it, I'm starting a podcast so that we can talk about this stuff was I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Okay.
I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a huge,
Oh, yeah.
huge MMA fan.
Yep.
And love Mike Goldberg and Joe. But Joe had some guy on his show and they were talking about alcoholism and alcoholics, and they just couldn't understand why. It was like a friend or somebody that they knew. They were just like losing their shit like we do. Right. And their ideas about why it was happening or what the program meant. I was like, oh, you fools
you guys have no idea.
no idea.
Why can't he just maintain type attitude? Why can't he just get a grip?
Why do they have to keep going?
Oh, to meetings?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so it was like, oh man. So for me, it's always been, I have like a disease, like diabetes, let's say. So I have to keep taking my medicine or I get sick.
Yeah.
My thinking reverts back to unhealthy patterns. And I have a quick forgetter. So I keep going to meetings and I'm plugged in and part of the process. And that's what helps me stay sober. So it's not a moral issue. We certainly do immoral things.
Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes is my husband is the only married man I date now.
Nice.
Which he appreciates.
Right.
I mean, alcohol is so widely accepted.
And it's dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous substances
So
on
dangerous.
the planet,
So dangerous. You don't see a lot of people smoking weed, getting into like high speed.
No, they're like sitting at home watching cartoons, eating breakfast cereal, right?
They're sitting at home on the couch, on mom's couch, no less.
But it is a gateway.
It's
what started me. So
me too.
Buyer beware.
Buyer beware. I know now it's illegal for recreational use in California.
Crazy. You can go buy a pack of.
I'm so mad.
I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm so mad. I'm a little mad about it.
You know what I wish? You know what I meant? I wish
what?
I could just take mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
They were great.
They were great, huh?
They were.
Yeah. No, I like smoking weed so much that not being high was my altered reality.
Right. Yeah.
So tell me about your first experience going through the steps. So actually, maybe to back that up a little bit, a lot of the 12 steps is based on trusting a higher power. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about what your higher power looks like, and then how did that fit in for you when you were working the steps?
As far as my higher power, that's to be determined
on
a daily. But I haven't really figured that out yet. And that's something I struggled with for a long time. In that 12 years is why am I missing the God gene? Why can't I just have faith? Why can't I believe? And it was hard on me. And then finally I came to the point with, is it really that important? Is it that important? Can I just not fake it till I make it, but can I just, I'm not saying I'm an atheist. I'm more probably an agnostic. Yeah. But I put so much pressure on myself and I see other people of faith. And I almost would get God envy. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, the God there, and I just don't have that. It's not built in me.
You don't feel a sense of there's something bigger than you that you can trust or a greater force at work?
I do. The process of the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my higher power.
Yeah.
And people. I mean, the connections with people is really what it's all about for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Connection.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. Did you feel like in the drinking and the using that cut off your connection to other people, your ability to connect?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a false front,
Mm-hmm.
It got me into social situations, but it wasn't the real me,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took a while to, that the social awkwardness we have when we come in of not having anything in our system and being around in social environments. It took years for that to really break.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself sort of a naturally shy person?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Introverted?
Not so much introverted, but just and I wouldn't say withdrawn, but just, hate to use the word, but a bit shy.
That's not a bad word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I like sitting in the back and watching. Yeah. More of a voyeur.
Well, listen, I thank God for people like you because I'm a talker.
I know you are. I know.
That makes sense.
And it could change tomorrow. I could have a burning bush experience and I could become a man of faith and off the church, but I'm not hard on myself over not being a man of faith. You know what I mean?
No, that sounds like
Yeah.
you've reached a place of acceptance.
I have.
The book talks about our serenity is in direct proportion to our level of acceptance.
Yep.
So,
and I think it's important for people to know that because I don't think anyone should have to die drunk because they don't want to believe in God.
right.
Or they feel like they're forced to believe in something they don't have to.
Do you feel like that gets shoved down your throat a little?
Not so much me,
Yeah.
but I think other people might.
Yeah.
My concern is for that person sitting in a meeting that doesn't want to be here because they think they have to believe in God, and that's not the case. And there's actually meetings out there that are secular meetings, and they have a whole different writing of the 12 steps.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have one here in town.
Is that the 4D meeting?
Nope, it's called Secular Step Study or something. Yeah, I forget the name, but
that's so cool.
yeah, it's at Cornerstone.
Okay. No, that's interesting because, I had somebody on who's very religious.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have somebody on that that it's a very...
He was actually one of the co-founders of the meeting.
Oh,
that I'm talking about, yeah. So,
yeah, that makes perfect sense. So he's a confirmed atheist.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I cannot wait. That's going to be He's interesting.
Talk about a big brain.
So I appreciate that your position is agnostic.
Yeah.
Right? Because
I'm open.
You're right in the middle there. Yeah.
But I also need evidence, I guess I've always described it as red light faith.
What does that mean?
Traffic signal faith. You'll be driving down the road and you go through a green light, but you have a sort of blind faith that the other people coming the other way are going to stop. And that's kind of how I live my life. If I'm doing everything, it's just going to kind of fall into place around me,
And it's not that you aren't going to get a curveball every once in a while.
No, absolutely. Life throws you curveballs, but it's just, that simplified it for me.
Okay.
And
so with this open-mindedness and this willingness to accept that you're not feeling this super God presence or whatever, you were able to work the steps with another sponsor. Who sponsored you for the longest? Did you have one sponsor that stands out as someone that you worked with the most? Or
Dan.
Yeah, you worked with Dan for a long time.
Your husband sponsored me for a number of years.
That's right.
The Neil sponsored me for a number of years.
I did that too. I've had many sponsors.
Yeah, I've doubled up with your husband Bobby. He's been my sponsor a couple times, and then and now I've been with this girl Jennifer for a little over 2 years now, doing a round of steps with her.
That's funny. My experience is similar with the sponsorship that I've had several, and I have found that I have had a different experience with each
one.
Yeah, each one brings something very different
to the table. Yeah, that's why I kind of chose Jennifer, because to get not so much a female perspective, but I guess a female perspective on a lot of writing. You girls like to hand out lots of writing assignments. Yeah.
Bob didn't give you any writing assignments?
No, he did, but it was more read this, write this, and she's it's more in depth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so what has your experience been this time? Are you learning new things about yourself?
I am. I think I am. It's eye-opening to get a female perspective on.
What step are you on right now?
On 7.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
We're doing an exercise called the funnel.
Okay, tell me about this exercise.
Where you write down something you want to change about yourself and why.
Okay.
And under that, you write why again until you narrow it down to a simple defect or whatever it is.
Can you give me an example?
I could, I want to stop being so angry with my wife. Why? Well, because it creates disharmony at home. Why? Because it affects my kids. Why? Because it creates shame with me. You know what I mean? And it all
yeah.
comes down to, one thing that I can narrow it down to that I guess
Yeah.
I haven't really done too much.
So it sounds like it really gets to like the core of
The
the
core
issue.
issue, yeah. Where it
Yeah.
could be this big exploded thing and it narrows it all down to
Something simple,
something simple,
digestible.
like a defect,
Mm-hmm.
It
gets to the top root.
the seven deadlies: anger, pride, envy, greed, gluttony, sloth. Breaks it all down to one of those, basically.
That's a really cool exercise.
Yeah.
And are you currently sponsoring others?
I have 2 sponsees right now, and they're both
New?
living life. No, I haven't sponsored a new guy in a while. They seem to fizzle out. I'll give them an assignment, and then I won't hear from them.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. I guess they're just not ready.
I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one guy I've sponsored him for about 6 or 7 years. He's married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, doing really well. The other guy I sponsor, I haven't seen him in quite a while, but he moved over to the Central Valley and bought a house and has a family. And
is doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I started sponsoring him when your husband was sponsoring me.
Uh-huh.
And I was lagging on the steps.
Uh-oh.
And this guy asked me to sponsor him. And he got up to 3 and was starting on 4. And so I had to get busy with your husband. Right?
Yeah.
And so I'd do a step, and then I'd come home and I'd call him and I'd do the exact same thing your husband did with me with him. Yeah. And it got me through the steps within like a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
All 12?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yep.
That's crazy.
The kid was on fire.
Whoa, he had you going.
He had me going. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you find that's what sponsees are for? Is
kind of, huh? To keep you on your toes a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Gets you back in the book.
Yep.
Keeps you focused on the solution. Yeah. I don't care what the problem is. It seems like the solution's always the same.
Yep.
Right?
It always is, yeah.
Clean house, work with others.
Trust in God.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're in a good place in your sobriety now.
I am.
We typically wrap up with things like, it's ODAT shout, one day at a time.
Yeah.
So how do you stay sober one day at a time?
You know what? That's a tough question for me.
Do you have like
I have a routine?
Yeah, like a morning routine or a weekly routine?
I should, but I don't. But I've never been one of those to like have a morning routine. I've never been one to like do a 10-step challenge or
there's a lot of that
join a league or be a follower or wear the ribbon. You know what I mean? I've always been kind of like do my own thing. So my morning routine is I wake up about 10 minutes before I got to be in my car.
Wow.
I grab my lunch and I grab my coffee and I'm on the road.
Okay.
I tune in my Pandora station.
Uh-huh.
I get to work about 5 or 6 minutes before I got to start walking. And I check my On This Day app on Facebook to see what I've done in my past. And
oh, really? What is that?
It goes back in time on what you posted on this day.
Oh, okay.
And it's really cool to look at like
where you were,
the silly shit you used to post. Like I can't believe I did that.
It's a Facebook app?
Yeah, it's on the app.
Okay.
So I check that, and then I walk into work and I try to do the best. I try to be a good employee and I try to set an example at work. And I come home and some days I pick my kid up from school and take her home and I usually try to hit at least 2 meetings a week.
2 meetings a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really miss the meeting though.
Have you go on the weekend?
If I don't, like I told you, I don't set an alarm for it, but if I'm up at 5:30, I'm there.
Yeah.
But I've been working a lot of Saturdays, so I haven't been able to do that.
Oh, I miss it when I can't go to that.
Yeah,
one.
that was a really good start to my mornings when I was going.
Yeah.
It was a really good kickstart to the day.
What changed in your schedule?
Work.
Oh, okay.
7 a.m. start time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So even though it's a 6 a.m. meeting, you'd only be able to...
Yeah, wouldn't be able to swing it.
Yeah, I did it every day for a year, and then I got a new job, and I start work at 6.
Oh, wow, okay.
In Redwood City, which is at 5:30. It takes me half an hour to get there.
So you haven't been going during the week at all?
You've
been just going on Saturday?
Yep, just
Do you
Saturday.
set an alarm to go?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
Like I need my fix.
There's something about setting an alarm on a weekend I just can't get behind.
I always tell myself, I go, you know what? If I need to, I'll take a nap later. Because I love a nap. I love a good nap. So I don't mind, but I just don't want to, like, I feel like $1,000,000 and I leave there.
Yeah.
I feel really good, and I like connecting with the fellowship. And for me, it's all about the fellowship, right? I like being able to see all my friends. We go out to breakfast after.
Yeah. That meeting's gotten really big too.
The meeting's gotten big,
Yeah.
and breakfast has gotten really big. Like
yeah.
there's like.
I'll be there this Saturday.
Okay, good.
If I wake up.
Yeah.
Normally I wake up at like 4:30.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I'll pop up. I'm up at 4:30.
Yeah.
And then
my head
go
wakes
back
me
to
up.
bed. And then when I fall back asleep,
then you're done.
wake up, in time, or I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love being able to, I intentionally need to go.
Yeah.
I like it. But there was a period of time there where I had a job that was very challenging emotionally for me.
Yeah.
And I went every day. And so it was interesting because that job, when I was in a difficult job, and I felt like I had to gear up to go in.
Right.
Like I had to fill well so that I could face my day because it was so challenging.
Just grueling, huh?
Grueling.
Yeah.
It was grueling.
So brutal.
It was brutal. I was a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. I was just
didn't. You know that those fit.
If you force it.
You just got to make the round hole a bit bigger. You've got to manipulate the hole.
This is not going to be taken a couple different ways.
Yeah.
It's not like on a podcast. Yeah. But I had to gear up. And it was interesting because I got so much out of that year because I was so plugged in.
Yeah.
Right? Like I had a lot of lessons from that year. And that seems to be how my life goes sometimes, is like difficult, challenging things come up. And when I'm on the other side of it, I have something very valuable, like I wouldn't have signed up for those lessons, but I'm so glad that I have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've sort of taken that and generalized it to when a challenging situation comes up, I go, oh.
I've dealt with this. I've muscled through this before.
Yeah. I know what to do. I know to connect with my friends. I know not to isolate for sure. Right? I do pray.
Yeah.
I have a morning routine where I read something, I pray, and usually my prayers are around, relieve me of the bondage of self.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. And I do pray that God directs my thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all in there, 83 to 88.
Yeah.
Right, on page 83. It tells you how to start your day and how to end it, right?
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. And then I've been listening to a lot of Tim Ferriss. He has a podcast, and he's like a self-experimenter and a productivity guy. And he interviews all these really amazing, successful people, not just money, but like all kinds of really cool people that are the top in their respective fields.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, like one of the common factors among all these people is meditation, I heard this guy, Dan Harris, he was a newscaster who was doing a bunch of drugs and stuff, and he like had a panic attack on Good Morning America in front of like 50 million people or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, spun out. And he wrote this book called 10% Happier because he started meditating.
Wow.
Yeah, and people thought, oh, it was kind of weird or what. Like, it seems like mainstream is like not comfortable with things like meditation, even still.
Yeah.
But he would just say, oh, well, they're like, why do you do that? And he goes, well, I'm about 10% happier. And that became the title of his book, and seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Right. So we do hear a lot about prayer and meditation. So that's definitely something.
I think that's probably the next stage of my evolution around here, is to go spiritually a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what? Meditation is really good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's just quieting the mind.
Meditation for dummies?
Dude,
I bet they do.
They have. So, like, I started out using something called Headspace. It's an app that you have an iPhone, right?
No.
There's
Droid guy.
Yeah, okay. But I think it's for that too.
Okay.
But it's called Headspace, and it's super cheap. It's a paid thing, but you can do 10 days free.
Okay.
And then if you like it, you can sign up for it. But if you can get YouTube on your phone, there's a guy named Sam Harris who is a neurologist right here in San Francisco, and he does a short meditation.
Like a guided meditation?
A guided meditation, okay. And he is, I think he might be atheist.
Okay.
But he believes in meditation, and he's a neuroscientist.
Metaphysical kind of guy.
I think that's like in the woo-woo realm, metaphysics.
Is it?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
Louise Hay, like I have some lower back pain, and this woo-woo healer was like, oh,
Put
that's
some
your...
crystals on there or something?
She was holding a crystal when she talked to me,
Yeah.
and she goes, oh, lower back pain is finances. Like stress, really.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, bitch, you know.
Did you ask her what's good for shoulder pain?
No, what's good for shoulder
I
pain?
can't say. Watch Step Brothers.
Shoulder pain. Oh my God, Step Brothers. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I watched it with my kids the other day. Super inappropriate.
Totally.
So good. So good. It's not inappropriate. It's not funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's metaphysical, but like Sam Harris does like the neuroscience behind calming your thinking. Anyway, try that one, and then there's like a super woo-woo one, Tara Brach. I'll put links on
I think I could do the super woo-woo.
It's a guided, but it's she's just very she does kind of get into the whole nature granola aspect of it.
Okay.
But whatever, if
I mean,
you try them all,
right?
See which one fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, meditation's really good for quieting the mind.
Yeah.
Getting deeper, and it does mellow me out. Actually, and if anger is something that you struggle with,
A little bit, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
The older I get, I think I'm
We do.
mellowing with age.
We do mellow with age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. If you can get here.
Yeah. If you can
It's
reach
good.
this point, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No. Yeah. No, I'll be interested to hear your feedback
I'll keep you informed
me in the
on
loop.
that. Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're coming up on our time. Listen, I really enjoy talking to you.
I enjoyed being here. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get that up on the website, and I'll let you know. But we're gonna do 30 episodes in 30 days.
30 and 30.
So you're on the top dogs.
Yeah. There we go.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to ODAT Chat. Please visit odatchat.com for more episodes, to leave feedback, or suggest topics and guests. Until next time.